Well, a warm welcome along to this week's Champions League Assist. I'm Warren Ashurst, and alongside me this week, Aaron Ashley and Jack Ogalbe to go through the second leg of the playoff encounters. Don't forget, of course, we are sponsored by Free Super Tips for the Assist, and we've got 8 more games to look forward to over the course of Tuesday and Wednesday. And as ever, we'll start with a game of the week, and it once again has to be the clash between Real Madrid and Manchester City. The first encounter at the Etihad was a cracker, entertainment value, everything that we expected from that game. And of course, on Wednesday at 8 p.m, we see the return clash at the Bernabeu with Real Madrid 3-2 up from the first leg. Real 5-6 to win this second leg. It's 100-30 the draw, and Manchester City 13-5. Before we get into this game, Aaron, just wanted to sort of get your views on what you thought of the first game and if it went the way you kind of expected.
Yeah, it was an absolute cracker, Warren. I'll be honest, I wasn't too sure on who would come out on top, but I did expect goals, I did expect drama, and there was plenty of that, Warren. And I expect much of the same from the second leg, to be honest. It's hard to see how there's not going to be another thrilling contest in store. City have to go for broke, and obviously Real Madrid's defensive injuries do give them a chance of overturning the deficit. So it's no forlorn hope this tie is done. City will fancy their chances after that 4-0 win over Newcastle on Saturday. So I'm expecting another thrilling contest between two of the best teams in Europe still, Warren.
Yeah, Jack, I mean, that 4-0 win on Saturday will have certainly boosted confidence, and I would imagine probably boosted belief in the City fans as well.
Absolutely. And I think that can be the blueprint, the 4-0 win against Newcastle for the match at the Bernabeu. I think they need to pack the team with pace and really have a go at Real. It's been a bad season for City. We know that. I think Pep should almost look to next season. After the January signings they brought in, he should pick a team which is going to take them forward, because some of the old guard, if you like, let them down, I thought, at the Etihad. But if Real go out, it's a disaster. If City go out, they've had a bad season, haven't they? This is the chance for them to really take the game to Los Blancos. And I think it's going to be a fantastic match.
Aaron, in terms of City and that 1-goal deficit, I mean, I think it almost felt after that match like it was game over, the way that they'd kind of thrown away the lead that they had. But there are positives to take from it, because to be in front twice against Real Madrid and play them almost at their own game for periods, even when they've not been playing particularly well, that gives them a little bit of optimism.
Oh, definitely, Warren. Like I said, it was one of those games that, I mean, Real Madrid did edge the shot count in that. They won the shot count 20-11. They did probably have the more clear-cut chances. And when you got Vinicius Jr., Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo running, you just got so many threats that you can't keep a team like that quiet, especially not throughout a game. So they can take positives from it, and they have to look at Real Madrid's defense. I mean, there's no Rudiger, there's no Militao, there's no Alaba, there's no Carvajal. There's a big opportunity here for City. They can still definitely go through in this tie.
And Jack, in terms of Real Madrid, I mean, they only know one way, of course, and that's to attack. They're not going to sit back on a 3-2 lead, are they?
I don't think the Bernabeu will let them. It's not a case of setting the stall, especially with all those injuries at the back. It's just a step into the unknown every time they play with the defenders they've got out at the moment. And that's why I think City have got such a big opportunity.
Okay, well, let's look at the best bets then for this game. Aaron, where are you looking for the value here?
I'm going to keep it simple, Warren. I'm going to expect a repeat of the first leg. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals. It's a bit shorter than it was in the opening leg. It was 6-5 in the first leg. It's only 4-5 now, but it's easy to see why, isn't it? I mean, there's just so much attacking talent on show here. Obviously, Real Madrid's defensive injuries, that gives City some hope, and it's hard to see how they're going to keep City at bay. Real have failed to win in 3 La Liga games now after that 1-1 draw at Osasuna on Saturday. They obviously remain at the top of the league, but we know they're a different demon when it comes to the Champions League. They just turn it on, don't they, year after year in this competition. City, obviously, that rout over Newcastle on Saturday, that is a big confidence boost ahead of this one. But they've kept only 4 clean sheets in the last 17 outings, and they've conceded 2 or more in 5 of the last 6 Champions League games. I don't know how you can keep Vinicius Jr., Mbappe, and Rodrigo quiet, to be honest. So much attacking talent on show. Let's go over 3.5 goals, Warren, and let's expect another thriller.
Okay, you thinking along the same lines, Jack?
Yeah, pretty similar. I've got Real over 3.5 goals, Real to win over 3.5 goals, just to clarify. About 21-10, I think it's an amazing price when you look at last week's game. You mentioned those great forwards. Mbappe shinned one in. Like, if you look in, you look in. And it is a case of Real always seem to do enough. I think City may take the lead, and they're going to take the game to Real, but it's just typical Los Blancos to go through in pretty unfulfilling circumstances, but get the job done anyway.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a massive surprise, would it, to see Real Madrid go all the way to the final again this year if they can get past City in this tie. Time to turn our attentions now to the rest of the Champions League encounters this week, and we'll start off with Tuesday's early kickoff, and that takes place at the San Siro, where AC Milan face Feyenoord. The Dutch team 1-0 up on aggregate from the first leg. Milan 19-50 to win this game at home on Tuesday. The draw is 15-4. And the win for Feyenoord can be backed at 7-1. Jack, we'll start with you with this one. I would suggest AC Milan are a little bit unpredictable at the moment, and Feyenoord will like their chances here.
Absolutely. They were awful, Milan, weren't they, at the Kite? Let's be fair. I did see a couple of Italian unkind reports towards Kyle Walker saying Igor Paschal played really well, but he was playing against Kyle Walker, which I thought wasn't very nice. It's been the way of Rossoneri been all season. I think Sergio Conceição will do what he does best. He'll get his side going. They just have no flow at all this season, but I think Milan will get the job done in extra time there. I look at a 2-1 for a correct score. That's around 7-1, and we all know about Santi Jimenez as well, joining Feyenoord, or going from Feyenoord to Milan, should I say, and it's made for him to score the winner, isn't it?
Well, that transfer, Aaron, has made it extra spicy this tie, hasn't it? And Feyenoord, with something to hold on to at the San Siro, will certainly have that probably in the back of their mind as well, not happy about what happened on the transfer front.
Oh, 100%, Warren. But like you say, Feyenoord, they do have the lead. They are 1-0 in this game. So they can change the way they would normally play if they were going to the San Siro. I'm expecting another cagey contest here, Warren. Feyenoord, they only had 2 shots on target. Obviously, they took the lead after 3 minutes in that game. So they only had 2 shots on target. And they also fired a blank in a goalless draw with NAC Breda in the Eredivisie on Saturday. Milan, they're so strong at home. That's the issue here. They've suffered only 2 defeats in 19 games at home this season. And they came against Liverpool and Napoli. But 6 of their last 9 matches have gone under 2.5 goals, and they are the sort of side that can become frustrated and they can run out of ideas as well. So with Feyenoord heading this tie, they don't have to go for broke. They can shut up shop, play for their chance on the counter-attack. And at 13-10, I like under 2.5 goals here, Warren, as Feyenoord bid to snap a 5-game winless run on the road.
Okay, well, time to look now at the 3 games taking place at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, and we'll start off with a game between Atalanta and Club Brugge. A bit of a surprise that Brugge are 2-1 up from the first leg in Belgium. The Europa League winners are 2-1 here, Atalanta, 2-1 on, I should say, Atalanta to win the second leg. It's 7-2 the draw and 5-1 Club Brugge. I mean, Aaron, I think most people were probably shocked at the fact that Atalanta lost that game. I suppose it was a bit of a contentious way that they did lose it late on, but they'll feel with this second opportunity on home soil that, they can show they're good enough not only to win this tie, but also to go deep in the Champions League.
Yeah, definitely, Warren. I mean, it seems like it's kind of expected that Atalanta are just going to turn this around. But I'm not that convinced, They've won only 3 of the last 13. They're going through quite a tough time. And in 8 of those games, they've failed to score more than once. The goals are dried up. So I think there could be value in Club Brugge defending this lead, and qualifying. They're around even money to qualify for the tie. The Belgian side, they beat Aston Villa in the Champions League this season. They've drew at Celtic. They've also scored in defeats at Milan and Manchester City. And Atalanta, they are the sort of side that can run out of ideas. And if a team sits deep and they will just knock it around the edge of the box for a while, and get frustrated. I can just see Brugge just defending resolutely, and I can see them pinching one on the counter attack. To be honest, so I like Brugge to qualify at even money here.
It's funny, I was looking at the stats before we came on air to record the podcast, and I was quite surprised by how poor Atalanta's recent home record was. And I have to say, Jack, I saw the majority of Brugge's game at Manchester City in the last match of the league format, and I was pretty impressed. I think they've got something about them to potentially cause problems here.
I think they're going to get a goal. Atalanta, they always seem to leave something out. As we saw against Celtic and Arsenal, they missed a penalty against the Gunners, and they had 25 efforts against Celtic without scoring. Both of those at home. They were 0-0 against Cagliari at the weekend. It was one of those moments where it just seems to follow them around. You shake your head because that was a chance for them to make tracks in the Serie A title race. I think they are going to go through there. I think they're going to win in style, but I do fancy Brugge to get a goal. However, the Belgians, they've been eliminated on 16 occasions in major European competitions when they've won the first leg of a knockout tie. Tough place to go, Bergamo, despite the recent results. I think Atalanta are going to have just about enough. Atalanta over 2.5 goals would be my selection. Just looking at the odds, 6-5, the right side of evens. and that's my my bet for the game.
Okay, well, up next, it is to the Allianz Arena for Bayern Munich against Celtic. Bayern, of course, in a strong position after their 2-1 victory at Celtic Park in the first leg, although Celtic's late goal in that match does give them hope. Bayern are 6-1 on to claim the victory in the second leg. Celtic as big as 12-1, and it's 8-1 the draw. Celtic will feel maybe a little bit harshly done by Jack in terms of that first leg. I think Bayern probably dominated possession, but Celtic had a goal ruled out and felt like they were the team on top towards the end. But this looks like a massive mountain to climb now.
It does. Bayern have hardly been convincing since Vincent Kompany took over, but they drew Leverkusen at the weekend. That's a big step towards reclaiming the Bundesliga title. I thought Celtic played well. Obviously had that early goal ruled out, but the roar at Parkhead, you thought it might carry them to a better result. I think they're going to score in Germany, but I worry that, like in Dortmund, they're going to get hammered. I think both teams to score, but a Bayern win at 13-10 would be my selection. But I think the goal markets might be something to look for. You look towards maybe something like over 3.5. That's 8-11. Push to over 4.5. That's the right side of evens at 13-8. I think it could be a bit of a chasing even for Brendan Rodgers' side.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, Aaron, isn't it? Because Celtic have to kind of come out with that goal deficit at some stage, and that leaves the way open for Bayern on the break.
That's it, Warren. It's clearly an uphill battle for Celtic now. I mean, I thought they played well in the first leg, to be honest, but they don't have that raucous home crowd behind them here at the Allianz Arena. Obviously, they'll be dreading another trip to Germany, having lost 7-1 at Dortmund earlier in this season's competition. And if anything, this Bayern attack, I mean, it's just a world class, isn't it? You look at the names. Elise, since he's gone there, has just been tremendous. You got Harry Kane, he's probably going to get a couple of goals here. Let's be honest. So you look at Bayern; they've won 14 of their 16 home games this season. They've only failed to beat Leverkusen twice in both league and cup. They've scored 3 or more in 11 of those games. So Celtic having also lost 4-2 at Aston Villa. They can't afford to sit back. They've got to go for it, but that'll be music to the ears of Bayern. It will just pick them off, I think. So Bayern to win and over 3.5 goals at 5-6 would be the way for me in that one, Warren.
Okay, well, last but not least, the last game on the list for Tuesday's action is between Benfica and Monaco at 8 p.m. And Benfica 1 goal up from their trip to Monaco in the first leg, which I have to say I was slightly surprised by. But Benfica normally really tough to beat at home, a 4-5 to win this second leg. It's 31-10 the draw and 29-10 for Monaco. Aaron, we'll start with you with this one. Where do you see the value?
I mean, Benfica, they were 1-0 winners, as you say, in the first leg at Monaco in the opening leg, and I expect the same outcome at home. I think 4-5 represents a real bit of value, actually, at home. A second-half red card obviously helped Benfica's cause and helped them get over the line there, but they won the shot count 23-6, and they've won 9 of their last 11 matches, which includes a 2-0 victory away at Juventus in their final game of the league phase. They also won 3-2 at Monaco in the league phase of the competition, which is worth remembering. So they're bidding to make it 3 wins over the French side in the Champions League this season. And the French visitors, they've won only 1 of the last 10 away games. And I just struggle to see how the roles are going to be reversed here, Warren. So 4-5 Benfica looks a spot of value for me.
I know you keep a close eye, Jack, on the Ligue 1 and the French sides. I mean, where are Monaco at the moment? And can we expect a bit of a rally in this second leg?
Well, they're brilliant at home, but struggle away. They beat Nantes 7-1 at the weekend, but you've got to go back some way for their last away victory. I think the game at the Stade Louis II was their real opportunity. I thought they were going to win, but Benfica put up a good show. They won at the weekend as well, didn't they? 1-0, grinding out once again at Santa Clara. I think it's going to be more exciting, actually, this game. Benfica, they were 4-2 up against Barcelona and lost 5-4. It's like they panic when they're in a good situation, but I think it'll be too good for Monaco. I fancy Pavlidis, who got the goal in the Principalities evens anytime. He's scored 8 in his last 7, which is real hot form, isn't it? He would be a pick. If I'm going to go for a match result, again, I'm going to go for goals. Benfica over 3.5, 11-4. I just think there's real value in the price when you look at their recent home games in the Champions League.
Okay, well, let's move on now to Wednesday, and the early game takes place at the Westfalenstadion, where Borussia Dortmund host Sporting Lisbon. I think probably raised a few eyebrows, the result in the first leg, a 3-0 thumping for Dortmund, beating Sporting in Portugal to put them in a really strong position for qualification. Dortmund are 9-10 in this game to claim the victory. It's 14-5 the draw, and Sporting also 14-5. Jack, we'll start with you with this one. Were you as surprised as many with the way that Dortmund sort of easily disposed of Sporting really in that first game?
I was. Sporting, to use that European footballing phrase, they've suffered, haven't they, since Ruben Amorim left. They're onto their second manager since his departure, and they've going through a change of shape, going through a 4-4-2 rather than his preferred 3-4-3. But it was still a pretty eye-catching result. I was surprised by that result in Portugal, but then I wasn't surprised by Dortmund losing 2-0 at second bottom Bochum. Get there eventually over the weekend. Niko Kovac will be demanding a response. He's going to go strong. I think 9-10 is a great price for a home win.
Yeah, it does look that way. I mean, Jack said there about Sporting suffering. I think it's suffering across the board when you consider how Amorim's getting on at Man United at the moment, Aaron. But this is a massive mountain for them to climb.
Oh, definitely. The tie almost looks done and dusted after Dortmund's brilliant 3-0 success away at Sporting. They've not looked the same since Ruben Amorim departed from Manchester United. That's clear to see. They've won only 3 of the last 9 matches in all competitions. They are, which is not the form you expect from the Primera Liga leaders. You know, they're top of the league, but they're not playing like it at the moment. In fact, they've taken only 1 point from their 5 Champions League games since Amorim's move away. They've lost 2-1 at Leipzig and Club Brugge in their last 2 Champions League away games. And I expect Dortmund to seal the deal with a repeat victory here. I mean, they're really struggling in the Bundesliga, which is quite baffling, to be honest. I mean, as Jack said, they lost 2-0 at Bochum at the weekend, and I think they're down in 11th at the moment, which is really strange to see. But yeah, it's quite bonkers. But they're turning it on in the Champions League. You know, they had a solid league phase campaign, and after that 3-0 win, there's no reason to go strong here, and I expect them to win at 9-10. I think that's a fair price.
Well, 2 more games to look forward to on Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. We've already, of course, previewed Real Madrid, Manchester City. PSG against Brest is next, the all-French affair. And to be honest, this looks like a tie, which is over as well. PSG 3-0 up from the away leg, a 2-11 to win the second leg. It's 12-1 Brest and 13-2 the draw. Is there any way back for Brest here, Aaron, or is it just basically going to be a cruise for PSG?
Yeah, this is another dead rubber second leg, I'm afraid, after PSG's 3-0 win in Brest. They must be absolutely sick of the sight of the Parisians. They've played them 3 times this season. They've also lost 3-1 and 5-2 in the league. I mean, you get through to the knockout stages and you get drawn against a league rival, formidable league rival too. It's not fair, is it? But yeah, PSG, they're on an 18-game unbeaten run. They've won 11 of the last 12. They've got a 10-point cushion at the top of the French top flight. So there's no reason that they shouldn't go strong here. And when you can call upon a front three of Ousmane Dembele, Bradley Bacola and Kvaratskhelia, forgive my pronunciation there. I mean, it's a bit tough. But that's one of the best front threes in Europe right now. And they're just going through the gears. And I expect them to win this and win this comfortably. The only hope I would say is they've kept only 2 clean sheets in 9 home outings. And Brest have scored in both league meetings between the pair. So I think they can get a consolation and give the travelling fans something to cheer. But PSG to win and both teams to score at 6-4 for me, Warren.
I mean, James Milton last time out before the first leg, Jack called it with Ousmane Dembele. He said more than 1 goal for the former Barcelona man in that tie, and he's been in outstanding form. I mean, from the bigger picture, just before we look at this game in more detail, PSG maybe sneaking under the radar a little bit here as potential winners?
I think they are going to be very dangerous opponents. We've mentioned that front three there. I'm not going to try and repeat the Georgian player's surname, but Desiree Doué, who's came in from Rennes last summer for a big fee, he's one of those players who can just play anywhere in the attacking positions, seems to complement the 3 when they put him in. I also like their midfield with Vitinha and João Neves. Bradley Barcola, of course, is really coming into his own. Wide on the left, maybe on the right-hand side with the new signing. I think it's really impressive, actually, what PSG have done. It's almost under the radar, the way they've recruited young players and they're building a team rather than building a raft of superstars who don't know how to work together. There's real cohesion in Luis Enrique's side at the moment.
Yeah, and in terms of this game, are you along similar lines as Aaron?
Yeah, well, Brest have lost, they've not beaten PSG in the last 31 meetings, but as he said, they've scored in both league contests. I just like over 0.5 goals for Brest at 4-5. There's enough in there just to get a consolation. It'll be a great occasion, but unfortunately, it's the end of the road for them.
And last but not least, it is to the Netherlands for PSV against Juventus, another of the 8 p.m. kickoffs on Wednesday. Juve 2-1 up with a late goal in the first leg in Turin. And in terms of the prices, PSV 5-4 to claim victory here. It's 27-10 the draw, and PSV a 19-10. Jack, we'll start with you with this one. How do you see this going?
I'm a draw all day on this one. Juve have had 13 ties in Serie A, but got a huge victory on Sunday evening at home to Inter Milan to boost their European hopes. PSV, they just seem to be slipping, drawing 2-2 with Utrecht at the weekend. They're behind Ajax in the standing. Ajax have got a game in hand in the Eredivisie as well. I think it's going to be a frustrating evening. PSV Eindhoven are one of those quite fun teams who always seem to start the season well, but the momentum drops off. They never quite have enough. Thiago Motta's side, they're quite, for their draw record, they are quite entertaining, but I think they're going to shut the game down, and it's a draw will be my pick.
Okay, Aaron, can you see any way back for PSV here?
I can actually, Warren. I actually fancy PSV to win this tie, to win the game at least in 90 minutes. They took 10 points from their 4 home games in the Champions League, which included a 3-2 win over Liverpool, albeit a very much changed Liverpool, but still, they had to get the job done. I quite like them at 5-4 to win this second leg. They lost 2-1 in Turin, as you said, but they edged the shot count 15-12. And Juve, they've won only one of the last 9 away games in the Champions League, and they're a tough team to predict. They're, as you said, the 1-0 win over Inter at the weekend was a great result, but they are extremely tough to predict. The Eredivisie hosts, they're unbeaten in 59 home games. That's a run that dates back to November 2022. And Juve, they had a tough game on Sunday. So I think PSV can win this match and at least, at worst, take it to extra time. So 5-4 PSV for me.
Okay, well, that has all the games covered for you then across Tuesday and Wednesday. Next up, it's the assist treble and the naps. Okay, well, we'll start off by looking ahead to this week's assist treble, I should say, with a selection from all 3 of us. Jack, we'll start with your tip first for the treble. Who are you looking at here?
I fancy Atalanta's win over 2.5 goals. 6-5 is a brilliant price. Yes, they've drawn against Arsenal and Celtic, but I think they've got a big performance in them. Brugge are also quite exciting to watch. They were 2-2 against Sandtruden at the weekend. It's going to be exciting in Bergamo, but I think Atalanta are going to have too much.
Okay, and Aaron, what's your selection for the treble?
It'll be Benfica at 4-5 at home to Monaco. They've already beat the French side twice in this season's competition. They won the first leg 1-0, winning the shot count 23-6 in that game. So at home, I think those stats could be even more exaggerated. And Monaco, they have won only one of the last 10 away games, and I struggle to see a way back here.
Well, I'm going to go for Borussia Dortmund at around about 9-10 to beat Sporting at the Westfalenstadion. I think just Dortmund need to keep up that momentum in Europe because domestically it's not going particularly well for them, of course. And after that recent managerial change, they need to get a little bit of a run going. They've won 3 of the last 5 in all competitions. Sporting, meanwhile, have only won 1 of the last 5 in all competitions, and 3-0 down from the first leg. You would kind of forgive them for thinking that it's game over. And I think Dortmund certainly would gain a bigger advantage from claiming a victory here. So they are the selections for the assist treble, and we'll conclude this week's Champions League assist podcast with the naps from both Aaron and Jack. And Aaron, we'll start with your nap first.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna go all in on Benfica here, Warren. I really fancy them. I really fancy them to make it 3 wins out of 3 against Monaco. So that'll be them for me.
Okay, and your nap, Jack?
Looked something different actually in that Dortmund game. Seru Guirassy to score. He's the right side of evens. He's the top scorer in the Champions League. It's almost gone under the radar. I can't see Kovac dropping him or leaving him out or resting him or whatever you want to call it. The Croatian boss, they need to win, and just to put some pride back in the fans and get them back on side. And that price is irresistible for a player who's scored 10 goals in 9 games.
Okay, well, big thanks to Jack and to Aaron for their input on this week's Champions League assist show. We'll be back, of course, with another assist on Thursday, looking ahead to the Premier League and EFL action, including that big clash between Manchester City and Liverpool at the weekend. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. And if you like your golf, make sure you join us for the Sweet Spot every Tuesday, of course, as well on the Racing Post YouTube channel. But for now, thanks very much for joining us. Enjoy your midweek European football, and please remember to gamble responsibly.